guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. Today I created this like burgundy look for prom 2017. My cute sister-in-law was like, hey, you should do a prom look because my high school's prom is March 11th, and I was like, dang, that's really soon because like in California proms are like in May, but I was like, I will get on that, girl. So I created this look here, and I hope you guys enjoyed. I did use a lot of Wet n Wild products, which are really awesome because they're affordable and you can find them at Walmart or Walgreens or CVS or Target, you know, a drugstore. And yeah, I'm actually obsessed with the way this turned out. It's really pretty. And you know, if I was going back to prom, I'd probably wear like a dark green or burgundy dress because like those are my two favorite colors. And this look would work perfectly for that. So if you like how this video turned out, you should give it a thumbs up at the end, and you should subscribe before you leave. I do post 3 videos a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And anyways, without further ado, let's just jump right on into it. Okay, so we need to start with really well prepped skin. So I've already washed my face, I'm moisturized, and I'm gonna be extra and use a couple of primers today. I'm first gonna start out with the Smashbox PhotoFinish Primer water. I've actually never used this before, but I've heard amazing things, so I just really wanna try it. I think it's like a way extra step, but I just wanna try it. And then I'm just gonna let it dry. Okay, now we want our pores to be covered as smoothed out as we possibly can. So I'm taking my NYX Angel Veil primer. I'm not gonna put this all over the face. I'm just gonna kind of put it in like T-zone area, nose, places that need a little bit extra help with the smoothing. And we want to create a really hydrated and glowy base, so I'm going in with my favorite BECCA First Light Priming Filter. Okay, now you're going to want to use a foundation that you know is reliable, that's going to last a good amount of time, that's going to cover what you want to cover, and that's going to look good in photos. I have 2, and I would use one or the other only, but neither of them are my perfect shade. So I have the Too Faced Born This Way and the Wet n Wild PhotoFocus foundation. If you have this in your right color, this is going to be a fantastic foundation for prom. But this is gonna way wash me out, and this is gonna make me look too orange. So I'm gonna mix them together because I know that this is going to work for me. So this has given me the coverage I want and needed. And the 2 mixtures of those shades kind of really created a really good shade for my skin tone. So you need to make sure if you have any problem areas or issues that you take care of them. For instance, I have really dry under eyes, so I'm going to use my most hydrating concealers because I don't ever want my under eyes to look dry in photos. So I'm gonna take my 2 most hydrating concealers. You know me, I like to just use 2 concealers. I like to use a really light one and then like more of a skin tone one that's gonna cover up blemishes and cover the dark circles. So I'm gonna start with my Bare Minerals Bare Skin Concealer. So I'm using this light one to highlight certain areas. You really want to highlight the high points of your face because it's going to look amazing in photography. And then I'm just going to blend it out with my Beauty Blender. Okay, for photos, you kind of want like a matte face, but you really want to highlight areas that the light is going to hit. So before I set my under eyes with powder, I'm going to go in with the Cover FX Custom Enhancer Drops. Now these are really pricey, they're like $46, but if you go to Walmart, I know Hard Candy has something very similar, and I'm pretty sure it would work just as fine. And I'm sure there's a lot of other drugstore brands that have liquid concealers like my NYX Born to Glow Liquid Illuminator, so this would work as well. This is just a lot more intense and a lot more long lasting, so that's why I'm starting out with this. Just taking some on my Beauty Blender and blending it in. This is the easiest way that I found to apply this product. now that I've applied that just on my cheekbones, a little bit on the bridge of my nose, I am going to set my under eyes. And you want to take a setting powder that you know just works for you. So I'm taking my Cover FX Perfect Setting Powder as per usual. This is Heaven Sent. If you have oily, normal to oily skin, I would suggest full on baking and leaving it there for a couple of minutes, but I have really dry skin, so I'm just gonna take some on my beauty blender, make sure I've blended out any creases that have happened, and pat it in. This way, your concealer lasts all day. And I do also do this on the edge of my nose because foundation tends to break up on the edge of my nose. And then also where we've covered blemishes so that they don't peek out throughout the night when you might be sweating because you're dancing, or you know, when you're taking photos, you don't want those blemishes to show. Next, you're gonna want to set your entire face. So I'm gonna go in with my Wet n Wild Coverall pressed powder, and I'm just gonna take a brush and just pat it into my skin. You want to put something on that you know you're not gonna have to worry about through the night. I'm gonna jump into the eyebrows now. I'm using my Anastasia Beverly Hills products, but use whatever is comfortable with you, and I'll be right back with you guys in just a second. Okay, I turned my camera back on and the lighting seems to be a little bit warmer, so I'm sorry about that, but we're gonna roll with it. I'm gonna prime my eyes using my Urban Decay eyeshadow primer potion. My camera is having a hard time focusing. This primer, I just know this is gonna keep it from creasing on me all night. So this is like my go-to primer. And if you don't have hooded lids like me, or if you don't have really oily lids, you might be able to get away with just putting a concealer on your eye and then blending it out and then setting it with a powder. But I have really creasy lids, I have really hooded lids, so I gotta set it and prime with a good primer. I am just taking my Cover FX powder again and setting the lids and the primer. Now that our lids are primed, we are gonna jump into eyeshadow. Today I will be using this Wet n Wild Au Naturel Nude Awakening palette. And I will also be using my Modern Renaissance palette, but I wanted to show you guys that this is also going to work for this kind of look. This just doesn't have all the colors I want for the look I'm going for, so that's why I'm jumping into this as well. First, we're going to start out with the Wet n Wild palette. I'm going to go into this like taupey shade right here, and that is going to be my transition shade. I just brightened things up a little bit, so sorry if you see a big lighting difference. But I'm just taking this shade and like blowing it out through the crease and upwards just to kind of get that good transition shade going. So that shade is pretty cool toned, and I don't necessarily want it to be too cool toned, but like I said, this palette could make the perfect look. I just want a little bit more red in my look, so I'm going to jump into the Modern Renaissance palette. And I'm just gonna take a little bit of this shade Red Ochre, like honestly like a tiny bit, and just kind of blend that into the crease. Like I'm barely getting it on my brush, and then I'm blending it through. Okay, now that that is pretty well blended through, I'm just gonna wipe my brush off on a washcloth, and then I'm gonna go into this burgundy shade right here. And I'm gonna take a more precise blending brush and just take a little bit of this shade. It's not crazy pigmented, so you don't have to worry too much, but you wanna start out with small increments. And then I'm gonna take this into my outer V and up the crease a little bit. I don't know why my camera is having a hard time focusing. I'm sorry if it's pissing you off. It's pissing me off too. I did jump back into the Modern Renaissance palette and taking a little bit of burnt orange, just a tiny bit, and just blending it through the crease again to warm things up, just because I'm not a huge cool toned eyeshadow person, but so far this Wet n Wild palette is really awesome. So if you love cool tones, this palette is all you need for this look, you know? You feel me? Yeah, feel me? And I'm just blending it through as per usual. So I've really blown the colors up and out, which is what I was going for. Now, if you were just sticking with this palette, I'm gonna take a little bit more of this burgundy purple shade and bring it a little bit further on my lid. But since I have these two palettes here, I'm going to take a mixture of that burgundy shade as well as red ochre right here and sweep that across the lid, kind of to just like halfway. I just personally want this look to pull a little bit more burgundy rather than purple, so that's why I wanted that red shade. Jumping back into this palette, I am going to take this rosy goldy shade right here, and I'm just gonna start blending that in with the burgundy shade we just put down. Then I'm jumping into this champagne shade right here, and I'm just placing that on the inner corner and slightly bringing it into the inner third of the eye. So far, this is like the least pigmented shade out of this palette, but so far this palette is working out really well for me, and I'm excited about that because it was $6. So I'm just taking a little bit more of red ochre in the Modern Renaissance palette, but you could just take the burgundy shade in this palette, and I'm just going to blend the shimmer shade here a little bit better with the rest of the dark shades. I'm just taking a little bit more of that rosy shade, just like I said, just to blend everything, sorry, the rose gold shade, just to blend everything together, really even transition. You don't want any harsh lines. You want it to be a really smooth, even transition. I think I want that shade to be a little bit more metallic, so I'm gonna spritz my brush. You could use water, you could use a setting spray. Today I'm using the Smashbox PhotoFinish Primer water. And I'm gonna do that again with that champagne shade we put on the inner corner. To finish the look off down onto the lower lash line, I'm going to take this taupey shade again, and just with a big blending brush, I'm just gonna kind of sweep that along. Now, really lightly, I'm going to take a mixture of the burgundy shade and the red ochre shade from my other palette and blend that really close to the lower lash line. And next I'm going to take the rose gold shade again from the Wet n Wild palette, and I'm going to bring that along the lower lash line. To highlight the brow bone, I'm taking this creamy white shade in this palette. So obviously, as you can tell, I have fake lashes again, lash extensions. I'm just brushing them out so that they look clean. So what you're going to want to do is take a waterproof mascara. I generally don't put mascara on my lower lashes, but tonight I want to go boom bam. So I'm just taking a little bit of mascara, just a little bit, just enough to define the lower lashes, but not enough to do like a full coating. Now that the eyeshadow is done, let's move on to the rest of the face. So we're gonna start by bronzing up, and I am going to take my Too Faced Sweethearts bronzer in the Baked Luminous Glow Bronzer Sweet Tea. Okay, now that that is taken care of, I'm just gonna slightly contour using my Wet n Wild Dulce de Leche contouring palette. Gotta get rid of that double chin, you know? Don't want your double chin to poke out if you have one, like me. Just kidding. I'm going to snatch the nose, especially for pictures. You want your nose snatched. So I'm going to take the same contour shade and run it down my nose ever so slightly so we don't create any harsh lines. But we do want to create that shadow. We want our nose to seem smaller, you know? Since the eyes are so intense for blush, I'm gonna go with something really, really light and really, really natural. So I'm gonna use my Smashbox blush in the shade Flush. And I'm just going to lightly dust that on the apples of my cheeks. So we already have a subtle highlight going because we used, well, it's not really subtle, it's pretty not intense, but it's pretty there. That is because we already used our Cover FX custom enhancer drops, but now I want a really intense highlight because I want that to pop in the photos for tonight for my prom. So I'm taking my favorite ColourPop highlighter in the shade Flexitarian, and I'm gonna start with using my finger. I'm just blending it out. This is so intense, I love it. On a day-to-day basis, I wouldn't do like this harsh of a contour, but since we're taking pictures tonight for prom, we wanna look extra snatched. I'm gonna set my face with an Urban Decay All Nighter setting spray, because you want your makeup to last all day. I mean all night. For this look, you could use a burgundy lip, nude lip, something in between. Today, I am going to try this Jordana Sweet Cream Matte Lip Color in the shade Cinnamon Toast. You can find this at Walgreens. If I was going back to prom, I'd definitely wear a liquid matte lipstick because you know this isn't gonna move, this isn't gonna budge. You can kiss, you can drink, you can eat. If you eat and drink, you might just need a little bit of touch up, but like it's not something that's gonna smear all over your face, and that's what you want for a look like this for prom. Okay, you guys, you've reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you liked how the look turned out. If you did, you should give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave. I do post 3 videos a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And if you don't want to miss them, you should subscribe. Anyways, I will let you guys go. Have a great morning, noon, evening, day, night, whenever it is that you're watching this. And if you are going to prom soon, have a blast, live it up, and wear the makeup you want to wear. I will see you guys next time. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.